There we go. There you go. I shine up right here because I'm running late. What's happening? What's happening? Let me see. Check, 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 check. One, 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 one. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Anybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I see the feed over here. I don't see the volume moving along. Let me know. Can you hear me? Hold on. Yeah. Put something in the chat if you can hear me. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Y'all had me scared there for a minute, man. What's going on, Skills? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on? What's good? Incentive. What's going on? Appreciate you for joining us. Everybody click the like button. We gonna I tried to get here. Oh man, you working? Oh man, hey, bro, good looking. Cause I'm picking up a little check. Top of the week. And in August we got some stuff scheduled. Some of our bigger joints are scheduled this month. And my refinance is also in being underwritten right now. In fact, the appraisal for that is Tuesday. So yeah, we're gonna definitely work it out, man. We're gonna work it out. Where's my phone at? Hold on, I'm gonna grab my phone, but everybody that's here, just click the like button for me. I'll be right back. What up, y'all? All right, what's happening? What's going on? What's going on? Tanisha, don't you start. Don't start. Um, Blue Lotus. What's going on? What's going on, Blue Lotus? What's happening? What's going on? Rich Wealthy. That's what's up. That's what's up. Everybody thumbs up. Click the like button, share. Um, you chilling? What you been working on, Blue Lotus? What's new? What you gonna what you gonna complete by year's end? Give us the piece that you can share. What you completing by year's end? OG Bruce Lee, what's happening? What's going on? You gotta get a Magneto Onyx. What's happening, man? Um, Gotta get a second gig. I feel you. Me too. I gotta get another one on top of what we got going on. So we can get that increase from the one we at. It's a Cardone method. Increase where you at. Oh, you gonna buy a home. You gonna buy a home. That's already done. They say it. They so easy to get. Especially if you go on credit. It's easy. Yeah. Ricky Skills, appreciate it, man. I work hard. Um, I counted 29 pots. I got two downstairs in the office. So it's 27 pots in this little vicinity. And there's some over here you can see on the sides of the couch that you can't see. And then within those 27 pots upstairs, there's one, two, three. There's four pots that actually share. Like that aloe in the window back there. It's two different aloes, and they both need it. When you buy stuff from Home Depot or Lowe's, you basically got to repot them immediately. The pots are already too small, and so I just took two aloes and put them in one. So that's the newest addition. And then we got a lucky bamboo that you might can see right there with a little bit of the red going. Um, and so let me see. I can put it a little bit over there, right there. Um, then my baby is on the floor. Like you probably can't. Like you see her, she grow like a snake, bro. She began long, and then it's a mixture. So it's like a snake plant in it, and then it's that what's called the ZZ plant right there on the white. That's a ZZ plant. If you ain't good with that, then they say that plant is like foolproof. Anybody can mess with that plant. The ZZ plant, the one on the white pot. So that one right there is a mixture of three different plants. The one on the floor is a pothos, the same as you can see right here, like these mass canes right there. And then at the bottom you see the leaves. That's a pothos. It's very interesting too because the mass cane is a highlight plant and the pothos is a low light plant. So I don't know if why they mixed them like that, but I got to give it highlight. But the bottom of it don't even like highlight. So and it's interesting because that one don't grow as fast as this one do. Because that one like it's growing crazy. Um, but anyway, what we talking about tonight? You see the topic? What's the topic? The topic is I don't even know the topic. What's the topic? The topic is something like love bonds, strong and weak force. And let me turn this down a little bit. All right, so it's like strong and weak force. And like I'm a big fan of the whole four blood types and the four chambers in your heart and the four lobes in your brain, the four directions. Um, and it's just so much more that deals with four inside of the body um, as well. Even when you deal with the base pair DNA, the A, the T, or if you go in order A, C, G, T. So it's only like a four base, you know what I mean? Bases to make up the DNA. And the A only mess with the T and the C only mess with the G. You know what I mean? That's how they always pair. And then in physics, there's something known as um, what is it? More like the four. It's like the four interactions of nature. And so they say it's the electromagnetic, gravity, strong force, weak force. You know what I'm saying? And when we filter all of that down into human behavior, zodiac signs can be condensed down into four elements and whatnot that fits this universal thing that's taking place. You know what I'm saying? With four, it just becomes to me it becomes very simplified. Like if there's only four bases that we really got to remember, understand, activate, live in harmony with. Um, and when I say live in harmony with, it's just not like obviously I'm in the earth zone right now, so I got a lot of earth energy around me. Um, but it's just not that. It's understanding personality types. You know what I'm saying? And being able to maintain equilibrium within that. You know what I'm saying? Is the key. What's up, Brandy? What's going on? And thank you. You know, and so let's talk a little bit about it, right? Love bonds. Where do we start? So again, I had talked about before the virgin bride is to give or share herself or conjoin in, I don't want to say lose, but lose her virginity um, at the night of marriage, the honeymoon. Very important because now the chemical interchange in sex is now mirroring a physical ceremony, okay? Um, which is awesome because for a couple reasons. One, and the main reason is I never forget. It was a brother in Atlanta, older guy. He was married, and in my opinion, it was the worst relationship, one of the worst that I've seen. It was just never peace within the relationship, right? And when they met, they got married 6 months later, and that's known as an opposition. And so your 90-day trial run is a square. That's the time that you first be able to see some things. 30 days is everything is fresh. It's the honeymoon effect. 60 days is pretty cool. 90 days is your first little inkling of potentially a little disagreement or something. You know what I mean? Something's going on you may not like in 90. So another 90 now is 6 months, okay? Which is in direct opposition to where you started. So now this is potential time for a conflict, okay? So the cycles of conjoining together physically, all right. Hey, what's up, April? Um, doesn't match the the actual marriage. So now the marriage cycle is in direct opposition to the conjoining cycle, to the alchemical cycle, or the chemical wedding. Because when you have sex, that is a chemical exchange. That's the chemical wedding. And I'm going to tell you the chemical wedding by far is more superior, or what I'm going to call the strong force, that's more superior to the physical wedding itself. Okay. Now, if you go look into chemistry, chemistry will tell you that there's something called physical reaction or physical change and chemical change or chemical reaction. Okay. Now, very interesting because the chemical reaction will always produce a different physical thing. When there's a chemical change, right, it will always produce something new. Always, because the structures of what make the current thing that you're looking at is changing. So if we burn a piece of paper, it now turns into ashes. It's in a different state physically. But you can physically change without chemical change. And you take that same piece of paper and you put it through a shredder, it's just torn up pieces of paper. The chemical composition of the paper never changed. And this is very interesting, very interesting, because chemistry shows us that you can have a physical change, and to a degree, it's kind of easier to put it back together and change back to your original state physically. Again, we tear a piece of paper, okay, just a physical change. Tape it, glue it, whatever. Bam, it's back, right? May not be as strong, but it's back. But if we burn it, we change the chemical composition to it, and now we're changing the physical composition to it. Now it goes from, paper to ash, right? So chemical change always produces a physical change. So the chemical bond, which we're made up of emotions, there's some glands in your brain known as the hypothalamus, very important. That's like the master chemical maker. I always considered him the owner of the bar, and he goes buy all of the chemicals, all of the liquor. And then the pituitary gland, known as the master gland, Yeah, pay attention to that. The pituitary gland is known as the master gland. Google this, okay? And his job is to, it's like a bartender. His job is to take all of the chemicals and disperse it out to where it goes. So his job is to take those drinks over to the clients, which is known as your organs and your cells. Okay. And so the chemical aspect of reality is a very dope one, and one that we really ignore. Okay. And so this is why in Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, like You Are the Placebo, things of that nature, he always reiterates the fact that you have to get yourself to physically change, you have to get your brain to produce a thought, and that thought must produce a feeling. So you got to get your brain to produce thought, thought forms that produce feelings. In other words, chemicals, because the chemical is released into the bloodstream and now you're feeling some type of way. Okay. So it's very important for that. In order for you to have change, you have to go through a chemical change. So there's no physical change per se without a chemical change. Okay. Not a real sustaining physical change. So he gets you to address the chemical aspect of yourself. Okay. So it's important. All right. And so strong force, weak force, because now what's starting to happen is where we're at in space and time, and I know for sure in my reality, okay, you have love bonds. Okay. I don't know if you can say this, you know what I'm saying? But you have love bonds. When you start getting into studies like the Hermetic science, it is talked about how anytime that you ever had sex with someone, because we know there's a chemical exchange, some of those energies are present, some of them may be dissolved. And most importantly, if your brain has a working memory of who that person was, right? Do you think your cells don't remember as well? Now, what happens when you have what happens when you have physical marriage that's in harmony with the chemical marriage? Okay, so it's harmonious. Cool. You got to look at these options. Then what happens when you have a chemical wedding that's in opposition to the physical wedding? What happens when you have a bad chemical? If you can have a chemical wedding, you can have a chemical divorce. That's what basically what I'm about to get to. If you can have a chemical wedding, you can have a chemical divorce. Okay. How do you know this? It's because I polled people. Like I'm really a scientist. I ask questions and stuff. I used to hold polls in the open public and just see men and women both had told me that they experienced something that I've never heard it, but I termed it as sexual dissonance, meaning all energy is a wave. And then if you're up and this energy's down, then you cancel each other out and you're going against the grain, so to speak. This is also known as a destructive um, or incoherent wave or destructive wave pattern. Okay, this is a known fact. Okay, so you got constructive waves, meaning the energies are riding up together and down together, up together, down together. Our energies are oscillating together. And then you have destructive that's doing this. Okay, now in sexual dissonance, what happens is the energy that you exchange when it's over, there's a form of irritation that you just, again, I always state this is not STD. This is just a form of, you don't know, it's just agitation. Okay. Something's going on there. It's because energetically, the chemicals don't necessarily mix. Okay. And so if anybody's had this experience, so we can just, I don't, new people may be here, just type 333 in the chat. If you know what I'm talking about, be an experience. And we don't have to talk about the experience. We just want to get an amen. That's all we want to get. Okay. If that's there. All right. So put 333 in the chat for me. All right. So Magneto Onyx. And it's very interesting because see, what's dope is men have to understand skills in there, Magneto. We now are recipients of female energy. But that's common sense because hypothetically, if a man slept with a woman and then he contracted something from a woman, then that shows you that you receive energy. And so, like, nothing's more receptive than that. And then understanding that. You understand what I'm saying? And so, from the masculine perspective, I think we got to be very conscientious because I think we don't think in those terms that we receive energy from females. You know what I'm saying? I think we just we pound it, or like Kevin Gates, think I want to get in her and punch the D in her, right? I think we come from a perspective of, and I'm not saying he's not aware of it, that we're also receiving the essence and taking her chemical energy with us. It's in us at this particular point. In that marriage, I'm telling you, by far supersedes every single thing. But now when you have this dissonance that's taking place, that's a chemical, you can be, let's say you're in a relationship and then it's happening and it keeps happening, right? And then look at the physical action of the bond between the two. You know what I mean? Is it, inharmonious? There's no peace. There, you can't see eye to eye. You understand what I'm saying? And that's something to be looked at. You know what I mean? Something to be looked at. Okay. And so now let's go a little bit more into the quantum aspect, what I would call quantum, because you would have, like, it's just the truth, man. I think maybe the last video I was on here, like I've talked, like, me, Trill Alchemy, that's in the chat or was in the chat. Like we was in a relationship, right? Like 6 months, right? Um, and so you have an energetic bond. But what happens, and this is hypothetical right here, but what happens if that energetic bond is still there? Now let's superimpose that on, wait a minute, you are in a relationship with someone. You are in a relationship with someone, right? Which then starts to add another dynamic to it. But, you know, what happens when you have this bond, energetic wise? See, we got to stop playing because that saying, like Jesus was saying something like, oh, you thought it, then it's already done, right? Now, you may not physically go do a sexual act, and there's no chemical interchange, so it's not necessarily done. But what I take away from that understanding of saying that is you already had a mental explosion in a sense where the body geared itself up. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something. OG Bruce Lee said he's going through it right now. Man, I pray for you, brother. Seriously, may the Divine Mother come and wash you real good. But you made me lose my train of thought with that one, man. Um, I literally lost my train of thought with that, man. Because I feel you. I feel you, bro. I do. I do. So I lost my train of thought. Y'all got to bring me back. But anyway, but what happens when you have these type of bonds? You know what I'm saying? These type of energetic bonds. And that's where I was going. Your mind already start to produce some things. Now, this is what I was really gonna say. Men I don't know about y'all ladies, but I'm gonna tell you how men think, and I don't care what you tell me. Every man thinks this. Every heterosexual man thinks this, and I even think homosexual men think this about what their preference is. When you see something that's appeasing to your eye, I swear to you, there's a universal male language. When he sees a woman, you know what his brain says? And he could be the most faithful dude. I don't care. Faithful, we're not talking about him violating anything. We're just talking about a quick nanosecond, I mean, half of a second, like nanosecond impulse that goes off. In street terms, excuse my French, but in street terms, it goes like this: man, I'll fuck the shit out of her, which is barbaric. I don't even know why we say that. Like, that's kind of disgusting, but for some reason, that's what we say. You know what I'm saying? That's what we say. And, am I lying, fellas? Am I lying? Like, you see something, it don't mean that you're going to try, but the mind recognizes what is beautiful and what your type is. So if you see that, so what that's the purpose of it being your type. The purpose of it being the person fitting the description of your type. So you saying, are you really saying, wow, ooh, that's exactly what I like, and that's it? Like, oh wow, that's exactly what I. No, what you really recognizing is like, oh yeah. That could be it right there, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, can me evolve to a place where you can be brutally, openly honest, and then be able to bring, in my opinion, science, meaning factual cause and effect, sequential order to the philosophy. You know what I'm saying? And then live within that, because this is a place that things bloom, things is gonna fall down and harvest, things gonna bloom again. Like, there's a pattern, there's a sacred dance that's taking place, and I want to be in step with that particular dance. Okay, all right. And so now, again, you may have strong, I'm calling them strong force connections, right? Strong force connections. You know what I'm saying? I never forget. I give you an example, right? Give you an example. So I give you a real. I give you another one. I give you another one, right? So was that this may have been a few years ago. Anyway, my wife wakes up and had a dream about her ex, right? And then I don't know if she want me to call her wife no more, but I'm gonna call you wife anyway. I already tell her, like, I'm weird, so I get compared to Gates a lot because I guess I'm an Aquarian. But if you understand our mindset, um, you always gonna be that without being that. Like, it's just how, you know what I mean. So I'm just one of those kind of person. I'm weird. I do shit my way. So anyway, um, later on that day, she actually got a communication from her friend that dude had got murdered. And I said, man, look at that shit. And so later, I don't know if it's the same day, but later in the conversation, they talked about connections. And that was one of her that she deemed as a special connection. This is high school for her, coming out of high school. You know what I'm saying? Nah, nah. She handled death totally like a champ. She's different. Um, not that I know of. But it's a connection. Now for me, because I'm dealing with this, I said, oh, this is entanglement. Okay, this is clearly an entanglement. Now it could have been years that y'all physically even seen each other, probably over 20 for sure. over 20 that you've seen each other, probably 30 since you had a sexual experience with them. But yet, on the day of his transition, in the dream world where space and time no longer exists here, this is why you're in one place and at the blink of an eye, all of a sudden you're in another place. Space and time don't exist in this world. This is the state of what I call Neptune, Pisces consciousness or transcendental consciousness. Very important. I don't even like psychic. Transcendental consciousness. Because that consciousness transcends space. Where we at thousands of miles away, it didn't care about space. Time, forget 30 years, 20 years, however long. It don't matter. It don't matter. That is a strong force connection, right? Ain't talked to 20 plus, ain't seen in 20 plus, ain't had sex in 30. But yet, on the passing, comes to you in the dream world. So that means, and of course, what ego say? You tangle with another nigga and I'm in bed with you, you tangle with another, right? That's it. That's logical, right? Ain't mad, ain't upset about it by far. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? You just look at it like, wow, that's interesting. That's deep. And that's strong force connection. Strong force connection. How do you build them? That's the key. And I'm gonna tell you without telling you, but you just gotta play little telepathic games with one another. Remember, I said it last time. We may play a game where we was in here in the chat, and I was thinking of a number, 1 through 3, and I said I'm gonna put it on Tanisha's head. Tanisha, I got it on my head. I'm putting it on your head, right? And she nailed the number. I mean, nailed it, right? But again, I picked her simply because Tanisha is the one that's gonna come on and be like, "Hey, boo," and that's gonna boost my energy up. I'm like, "Hey, boo, what's happening?" Right? But it's typical Leo Aquarian dance. There's a air and fire balance there that takes place. All right, cool, right? But my point is, when you start playing these little telepathic games with one another to really test how your mental wavelength, most importantly though, the heart wavelength of what's taking place, then these energies merge and then they co-create and bring in the same thing in existence, irregardless of space and time. Irregardless of space and time, right? For real, for real. Seriously. I can tell you experience today, but I'm not going to tell you experience today, but I'm telling you this is real. And that's about 1,000 or so miles apart, dealing with the same sequence of numbers on purpose, playing the game on purpose. And then shit, show me pictures. Bam, like, show me the receipts. Bam. Right? Okay. So that's strong force. I had this concept, and I don't care if you invent it and do it because I really want to see people evolve, right? And the concept, I had this back in 2013. The concept was, imagine on the refrigerator, there's a lever, a his and her lever, or a magnet that you can move up and down. And it may have full, 3/4, half, quarter, empty. So it may have 5 settings, right? The right side is the man, the left side is the woman's. So now you have to understand a person's love language, right? So you know that. You should know what that is. Are they a touch person? Are they a quality time person? Are they a gift person? Are they acts of service person? Or what's the other one? Words of affirmation person. So you need to know this. And so now what's going to happen is when you feel like you need some love, you're going to go and move your lever down a little bit. Now you got to have a promise though. And here's the promise. You would never allow your lover to get below half tank. That's your job. You half tank? No, we ain't playing that game. You half empty? No. We ain't playing that game. Okay? It can be whatever. It could be 3/4. What you mean? What you about to fill you back up? I don't even want you to get to 3/4. I'm about to fill you and fill me back up. But here's the purpose of it, though. Here's the real purpose of it. I'm now forced to understand body language, energy. Is here now. It's here now. As far as feeling, it's not here through the mouth. It's not here. Hey, babe, give me some. What like it don't ring the same. That's the way I think you can communicate it from here and it ring. But now I know yesterday that you was full and you moved it to 3/4. So what the hell happened yesterday that I missed? It's forcing me to study your psychology, your behavior, so I can come in tune with that. You understand what I'm saying? And if you really don't, especially for men, if you really don't, you start putting this thing down, noting where the moon is on that day, and see if that pattern pops up on a monthly aspect, because it may be in conjunction with her own cycle. At the first week off the cycle, she may be energetic. Second week, she may be cool. Third week, the energy may be starting to wane a little bit, and you can tell it's a little, it's a little ain't as nice as you was when you came off. You know what I'm saying? Energy may can wane. The fourth week, she about to come on again. You know what I mean? So it may be a little cycle that's there. But back to the drawing board on the refrigerator. How do we start to move more in energetic ways to create strong bond, or known as strong force? Okay, I think heart synchronization, things of that nature, is very important. Breathing exercises together is very important. Um, I personally think I'm more of a fan of, I like both, right? To me, the yang style, because remember, it's four energies, but they could get conduced down into yang and yin. And yang style is, let's get up, let's go work out, let's sweat, let's have sex, then let's, hey, go out and crush the world. You know what I'm saying? Let's go out and go get this money. Let's build. Yin style is more receptive. Yin is come lay with me by the plants and let's listen to waterfall sounds and let's just relate to one another and get more into a, for lack of a better word, more of an emotional, energetic space. The yang is great though because it produces things and there's some synchronization that comes out of that clearly. Oh, we made some money today. We put this in the account today. High five. Oh, we refinanced the house. How much you need? Are you going back to massage school? That's what you doing? Bam, here goes some money for that. Cool. That works. Yang is magnificent. I just, me personally, I'm a yin dragon. I love feeling the feminine essence of receiving, because that's, to me, that's where it's forcing you to go within, whereas yang is just strictly external and going out. It's easy to go out. For me, it is. It's easy to go out and do things and stuff like that. A little bit more harder for me to get in tune with what I feel. You know what I'm saying? Is the key, right? So weak force don't even have to be explained because weak force is just drama. In physics, weak force deals with decay. Again, that can go back to that sexual dissonance that we may experience. Something's agitated. There's a process of decay. So weak force is when energies is decaying. Strong force binds what's called the quarks together, and then it starts to produce more of what we would call the proton and the neutron, and etc. So strong force is a binding factor. Weak force is a decay factor. The other two is just gravitational pull. Interesting, because that's going to be more of the planets that you attract in a sense. And then the other one is electromagnetism, which is definitely masculine and feminine, electro man, magnetic woman, okay? And definitely in conjunction with planetary bodies and gravitational pull, hence the moon exerting its powers on the earth and waters, high tide, low tide, definitely has to have an effect on the human body. Okay. Can y'all still hear me? I ain't seen nobody say nothing in a minute. I see I'm still on. So hold on. Let me know if you can still hear me. Say something. You can still hear me? All right. right? You with me? All right, cool. Appreciate it. All right, yeah. So, but really, I mean, that's really it. I think that listen, we're in the age of an Aquarius, right? This is a fact. I'm not making this up, and I'm not making it up just because I'm an Aquarian either. Like I everything I say, I am telling you, you can go simple Google, get your Wikipedia scholarship on. It's gonna check out, right? Unless I tell you Spirit told me, there's no way that you can't quantify that what Spirit told me. Okay. Um, but these principles, these laws, like man, that's easy. That's like, ABC. That's some easy stuff to go look at and really understand, right? And so within this age, again, you have to have an unorthodox viewpoint. It is mandatory because Aquarius rules unorthodox, different. So the rules and regulations of societal norms don't apply here. It don't listen. You're in a. Do you really understand where you at? You're in a space in time right now where people are saying, "I am binary. I don't have a gender." Right? Whatever. And in law enforcement, and lawmakers is like, okay, right? Like literally, okay, right? It's Uranus. It's gone mad. That's Uranus, right? But it's getting you to think outside of the box. That's the thing here. It's to think outside of the box, right? So you can have an energetic bond with someone, but you may have an energetic bond with somebody else, but you need a physical marriage with somebody, right? And then you can be in weak force and decay, but you got strong energetic bonds over here. And vice versa. You can have a strong energetic bond in your marriage and have strong energetic bonds with other people as well. You understand what I'm saying? It's all of the above. It's that like that answer D on the test, all of the above. You know what I'm saying? It's all of the above. But you got to think outside of the box here because the moment that we get to explore in consciousness and put ourselves, and that's why I work diligently to build this space right here, to be able to explore who we are, what connection is, to remember the zikr beads like you see on the Buddha, that necklace, the zikr, right? Zikr means to remember, right? So in Islam, it's to remember Allah. So when you wear these beads is just a constant remembrance that you're supposed to have your mind on wakeful prayer. Okay. So just remember. So you have to, in my opinion, it would be nice to get to a point where you can remember and understand what the connection is. Because I always say the moment that you can't and you don't, or you shut off, right? It's like a guaranteed prescription for reincarnation, like guaranteed. Like so, when you start studying the reincarnation thing, and don't be too spooked by that, because listen, in Matthew, what happened? Jesus takes Peter and John up on the mountain, and they call it the Transfiguration, and Jesus was now in the company of Elijah and Moses, and some translations say his face turned into Elijah and Moses. You understand what I'm saying? And then when he came back down and, they came off the mountain and Jesus told them, yeah, but yeah, Elijah was already here. He already came and they didn't understand that. And they was like, oh, he's talking about John the Baptist. So they're talking about reincarnation, right? All right, hence AKA resurrection. Okay, same thing. Okay. So if you're not able to understand the dynamic of the relationship, again, I always give you the reference of Dr. Brian Weiss' work. If you can't understand the basis of the relationship, the tension or the goodness, whatever it is, okay? Especially if you got some shit that's unresolved, you know what I'm saying? You got to come back to deal with it. That's the rules. You keep coming back. You think chakra mean will. They ain't got nothing on the wheel that of reincarnation that keep you coming back into this particular place so you can evolve and become whole as a soul. You understand what I'm saying? That's some other stuff. So I don't remember in totality. I can't say that I do in totality until I'm able to get next to you or vibe with you. Next to you don't mean physically, vibe with you and be able to sense what this is. This goes for men, this goes for women. I can sense. And I'm going to tell you another thing that happens in this reality. One person, if a person's demeanor and energy is just like a person who you know, trust me, they popping up in your reality. The first person was your primer to get you ready to understand what that personality type and energy is like. So that's your introduction, that's your initiator. So now when you go out in the world and you get more of those, you already know to deal or not to deal. You understand what I'm saying? To deal or not to deal. Okay. And so those are like the doppelgangers, sort of like the Agent Smiths in the Matrix, where it's just this twin effect that's popping up, giving you some havoc, giving you some static. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that's talking about. It's a doppelganger type of vibe that's popping up in your reality. So now you don't have to do that again. You understand what I'm saying? All right. And so to get in a place to be able to remember, so you can generate nothing but strong force. You understand what I'm saying? So you can get to that's ultimately a state of enlightenment. So you can get to that place of real internal peace in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Then you don't have to worry about the troubles of the reincarnation. Because what I always say, in the Western Hemisphere, it's very dangerous because we're not taught about spiritual sciences growing up. We come into this thing much later. So we live our teens, our 20s, our 30s in pure utter ignorance, don't know nothing. They've been in the most toxic relationships, don't know nothing. Relationships with family members, it's just crazy, don't know nothing, right? And so then you have to reincarnate back into a relationship where that same trauma can get realized again to get you to wake up and understand what it's about. So again, you can go read miracles do happen. Miracles happen. The past life, what is it? Transformational power, past life memories. Miracles happen. Dr. Brian Weiss. Thick book, nothing but testimonials for people experiences, seeing their mama was their sister, their boyfriend was their father, relationship dynamics changing. I like the relationship dynamic ones, and I love the so-called disease state ones. Oh, you got a disease in this lifetime? Katoosh, what's happening? You got a disease in this lifetime? It's because it's in your soul's memory from something else. There's a whole science with the birthmark. The birthmark, there's a guy who studied birthmarks, and birthmarks were said to be critical points of injury, your fatal points of injury. There's supposed to be an African tribe that actually identifies you by birthmark. Like, oh no, you don't belong over here. You belong over the village over there. You understand what I'm saying? And so this is like serious stuff. Because if you're here now, what makes you think you weren't never here before? It's absolutely the most absurd notion that you can say. I wasn't here before, and really think that you wasn't, and you here now. And you're like, we don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? As far as what makes us alive, you gonna take your little special ed self to sleep tonight. Why? Because you're not even evolved to a point where the human being can stay up. You gotta go to sleep. And then when you go to sleep, guess what? You're not gonna even have a conscious awareness of what you're going to do in the dream world. There's people who wake up out of sleep who got scars on them, marks on them. You don't know what you're gonna dream about tonight. You ain't trained yourself that way to know what you're gonna dream about tonight. For the most part, majority of us have not, right? That's how ignorant we are. In the sense of you can't even stay woke without going delirious and losing your mind. You can't keep your light on 24 hours a day like the sun. Not in this type of body. It don't happen like that, right? And it's clear when you die, something has left the body. The physical body is there, but even within the physical body, and will tell you, the highest form of enlightenment, I don't care what nobody tell me, is the Tibetan Buddhist boys who got the rainbow body. When they die, their body shrinks, and sometimes it's just teeth, hair, and nails left. That means the bones disappear. The bones disappear, and then a rainbow light appears either outside or in the room. It's called the rainbow body. The Tibetan Buddhists got a technique called the rainbow body that through a master of meditation, their body transform at death. But even at the decaying state, how can something dead move anyway? A dead body is moving, it's decaying. I thought it was dead. Why is it moving? So even in death, there's movement. You understand what I'm saying? So now we're not consciously aware of these things. So who's to say that you wasn't here before and you not coming back? Oh, no. You coming back. You just wasn't taught this in the Western Hemisphere. You're coming back. Absolutely, you're coming back. Every reading I got, and I got it from different people, white people, black people, it always pops up. I'll give you the lifelines, the soul line. When I was a baby in this incarnation, right before, like, not even a whole year before this incarnation, that passed away later at the hospital in an accident, and I know where it took place at. It's a feeling I get when I'm right there. And funny enough, there is actually right there to this day, there is, when somebody died, they had the balloons and teddy bears right there and shit. A woman got in an accident and hit the pole, and she passed and shit. But it's a little bit down from there, just a tad bit down from there. That I got a feeling, and I see this image of it happening right there. Before that, a priest in Haiti. Before that, a Sufi mystic in Afghanistan. Interesting, because the Haitian thing, like, I can get in, I got more of a Western style when it comes to, oh, you want to deal with white supremacy? Because then I turn into Tucson on you. Oh, that's what we doing, Confederates? Oh, we gonna go to the mountains. I'm gonna print a picture. Oh, I'm gonna put something on your face. Oh, I'm gonna line up with this planet, and I'm gonna concentrate, and bam, I'm gonna hit you, right? So I feel that. You know what I mean? When I get in warrior mode, right? So that's easy. That's very easy for me to do. It's scary how easy it is, right? Um, the Sufi mystic aspect, damn, interesting. I was in the Nation of Islam, always gonna be in the nation, whether in there and around, you got so much fruit that it fell off the tree that's still related to the tree, if you understand what I'm saying. Um, you know, um, then even got into the mysticism, the Sufi system. About Muhammad was introduced to that, started studying that aspect. Um, Mother Tainetta, Muhammad and Nation of Islam unveiling the number 19 happened to pass on my B-Day. Interesting, very interesting. Totally know what that means. Um, and then before that, an Egyptian priest at Luxor, I was told, Ampu the name, right? Before I even start even getting into the Egypt thing, because I always had an affinity and a special relationship with dogs. You know what I mean? I'm a dog whisperer. You know what I mean? Um, Lady read me before and gave me a light worker in Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is like three different people who given me this information. All I just shared. You know what I'm saying? It's always been on something that was spiritual. Always. If you understand your birth chart, for me, I got Pisces on the midhaven. The midhaven means the southern portion of the sky is called the MC. It's the highest point in the sky, represents your career, your success, your fame, and as well. That's Pisces. Pisces is transcendental consciousness, spirituality, meditation, retreats off into solitude, right? Spiritual illumination, right? Visualization, imagination, meditation, that kind of stuff, music, poetry, that kind of stuff. But then Pisces is ruled by the planet Neptune. So Neptune in my chart, which a lot of us probably got Neptune and Sagittarius, Neptune stays in the sign for about 14 years, so it's like a generational thing. But I got Neptune in the sixth house though. So that simply means there's a 14-year group of people who got Neptune in Sagittarius, fine. But when you were born, was Neptune in the east coming up in the morning? I mean, coming up at the time of your birth? Or was it there in the south? Or was it right there in the west? Or was it over here in the north? That makes a big difference. Those are called houses. The directions represent different access points in your life. So I got Neptune in the sixth, which means that's due west. So a little bit 30 degrees past due west, coming over, like imagine the sunset. Now to the right of the sun, that's why I had Neptune at sunset. That's called the sixth house. The sixth house is your day-to-day work, which you're supposed to be doing every day. It's more like your job. Very interesting because now I got the planet that rules spirituality in the sixth house, day-to-day work, with the sign that it naturally rules on career. So for when it comes to that, I'm in alignment. I'm not, I could have Neptune totally somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? Could have had it in the fifth house. It ain't got nothing to do with career in a sense. You know what I mean? But I got it with day-to-day work, and then I got the sign in career, which you'd be able to do and put it in the public in a sense, right? And so when you deal with Neptune, mysticism, and all the stuff I just named earlier, that's supposed to be a daily thing for you. So it's hard to really get me off my square unless I'm going into economic mode and we talking about real estate and building and businesses and things like that because I got a knack for that. I love that too. It's another placement that I got in my chart that deals with that. So anyway, saying that all that to say that um, you've been here before, and there's a technique, and maybe I need to put it out, man, because I gave it to members. Um, there's a guided visualization that you could do where you can access your own subconscious past life. That's all it is. I'm not a fan per se. You can tell a person something, but they haven't had the experience of seeing that. See, when you go back and you go study Dr. Brian White's work, what happens is the people who see that, oh, I was smoking cigarette and I was a bad smoker, chronic smoker, and I die of lung cancer. That's the source of my asthma. You no longer have asthma no more. Or this is documented, right? And that particular case I've done. I actually got the video right here on my laptop. Um, and so being able to see that for yourself is cool. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna flat out tell you, you're gonna come here, right? No more than a party of three. And what I'm gonna do with the apartment over there on that side is use that more like an Airbnb style, but I'm not gonna Airbnb it. It's just for short term. Like you come in, you have a place to stay, or you can find your own place to stay. That's fine as well. And you're gonna go through. I call it art, an advanced relaxation technique, and it's so simple. It's so easy. Only thing you got to do is just put yourself at peace. Lay down, relax yourself, close your eyes, follow my voice, and go. You know what I'm saying? Relax and just allow what comes up naturally, right? So you can have these, so you can know what this is. You know what I'm saying? For yourself. This ain't me telling you. This ain't me projecting. I think you was a priest in Egypt, and no. I ain't doing none of that. You got to go within it for yourself to see what it is. Very important. So you would have on some headphones. You be relaxed. I got a new toy. Hold on. Let me show you my new toy. Hold on. Oh, one of the toys. Woohoo! Right, so we're gonna be going, right. So it's for the sound therapy, right? Hit the energy field, right? Chakra work, literally using sound therapy, vibration to raise our own vibration. All right. I'm telling you, until I've been in the lab working on some stuff, man. I got some Neptune drops over there, literally light from the planet Neptune. I'm drinking light from the planet. And like I'm literally I'm oscillating real high, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, what's going on? And actually my equilibrium is off a little bit because I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's a new spin, right? Are y'all able to hear that? right? So just just to get you in that zone, man, because I'm all about the ascension. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna put a 3 day thing. If y'all know me, we used to travel on sacred points of the spring equinox, summer solstice, fall equinox, take the winter off. So I'm not necessarily doing public trips for the public like that. Obviously, I took a few years off, but it's definitely for those who want to come in. And we got a 3 day curriculum for you in a sense that's personally catered to you. You know what I'm saying? Where you come in, it's aura chakra, it's heart machine. Next day is that, it's energy work. Then it's off, and we travel to one of these sacred magnetic spots that's around here. Um, there, doing the energy work there, technology there to be able to physically measure your fields. Maybe when I do the next blog, I'll come back with some printouts to be able to show you some stuff. But to be able to do the energy there so you can see yourself physically go from one state to another state is where it's at. And then come back, definitely some chart. I want you to start really knowing yourself. So it's going to be a conversation about you, but in energy form. I don't necessarily care about, I got Saturn square Uranus. I don't care about that part. That's not what this setting's for, because you really got to have, it takes a little bit more time. Let's condense it down to what is to its energy form. Saturn in Leo, that's fire. Sun in Aquarius, air. Mars in Aquarius, air. Mercury in Aquarius, air. Moon in Aquarius, air. Pluto in Libra, air. Oh shit. 5 air. Saturn in Leo, fire. Neptune in Sag, fire. Venus in Aries, fire. Shit, we only got 2 more planets to go. Okay, what is it? Uranus and Scorpio, water. Jupiter and Taurus, earth. Oh, so you're 5 air, 3 fire, 1 water, 1 earth. So fire and air get along. So technically that's 8. Water and earth get along. That's 2 over there. There's an 8-2 ratio in the yang to the yin. But now, so that yang energy can come off, however it come off. But you see me clearly. I'm not even in yang mode when I'm doing it. I'm clearly I'm in yin. So I'm on the other side. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I would call. I have to say it. I have to take your name on that, but that's what I would call true alchemy in that sense. You know what I mean? Alchemizing and playing with the energies of all of it, because ultimately all of it is inside of you. But when you come and you understand what that is, the okay, predominantly air. Okay, do you talk? Do you write? Probably talk too much. Do you talk? You write? You speak? What you got ideas? Okay, put that out. What are you doing physically to let that expression happen? Right? And then what are you lacking? So I lack earth and I lack water. Really? I don't know if you can hear it, but I got waterfalls going, and they're going my earth energy. And then the physical, this is more of a spiritual physical thing for me. But then out in the physical world, this apartment building, it's 8 units, we own it. Partner with Van on a 4 unit, we own it. You know what I'm saying? Me and Cody got 2 houses next to each other, own it. Then I got some other property free and clear myself, own it. So that's more of my earth energy right there. Water is more of my ability to connect with spirit and be in tune with feelings, right? And doing meditative techniques and things of that nature, right? So for you to be able to understand that, see what your strong suit is, and then some practices to do to break out to bring you to say strengthen that deficiency that may be there, that's going to be given. You know what I mean? Along with just being on these technologies with aura chakra and heart technologies on a daily, understanding that. And it's a 3 day fruit fast when we in that zone, because we need to be eating of the light, not stuff that's dead, things that just literally are alive that will give you life. You understand what I'm saying? And really tap in, because once we activate and we ascend, ascension is automatically going to deal with. It's going to automatically deal with a healing process because you vibrate faster. and now you become electrified. You see what I'm saying? Which starts shocking all of the lower demonic little parasites and whatnot. You know what I mean? So to be nice herbal, herbal tea, fruit, and just really go in sacred travel to a sacred spot, and then get it in for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna bob, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? And that's what we gonna do, man. We're gonna have a, and that's what, and see that last day is gonna be more of a past life thing. So instead of going out Saturday, I always, because we always used to check in hotels on Friday. So if we're using that same model, Saturday we out in the field, but Sunday is wake up, technology. Because I want to see what your energy is like when you wake up. Then do some energy work, come back and see if there's any change. Now you can compare that to when you first got here on Friday. You can also compare that to Saturday morning's wake up. See what I'm saying? So now we got all this data now that we can now quantify and see. It ain't no longer a theory, it's real shit now, right? And so then that day, Sunday is like that day, all right, we're gonna do the regression work, right? And so we do the past life regression work, and then we may do it again. You know what I'm saying? Because that's more of an in-house day, and then that day of conversation with your own energy and whatnot. And then that's just gonna be it. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it's gonna be. And I got some. And man, listen, I think anybody can do this. Listen, I got water, some water that is coming in from Lords. You know what I mean? Lord's friends. You know what I mean? Dealing with the healing powers of the Blessed Virgin or the Immaculate Mother, and Saint Bernadette, all that energy. You know what I'm saying? Reading up on that. We did that webinar last week, me and Jew, Catholic miracles versus African spirituality. I literally got water coming in. You know what I mean? Because now I'm about to again put myself on a 3-day fast, um, 3-day fruit fast, and do nothing but that real holy water, that healing water. You know what I'm saying? Like this is real stuff, man. That's been documented. It's out in Golden, Colorado too, with Mother Frances Cabrini. Remember the Cabrini Green Project? Cabrini was named after her. Mother Cabrini struck the ground and water started flowing out in Golden, Colorado. Look it up, okay? Like people go there. I had jugs of water from there as well. I took people there. You know what I'm saying? In 2015, we did that trip. You understand what I'm saying? And so there's some places here in the United States, but on the earth, that are very therapeutic and very healing. And it's really all about the wave of consciousness that's inside of your head, that's inside of your heart. You know what I mean? That's the key to get on that wave and activate. All right. So send me some questions, man, because I'm about to get ready, pack it up, handle some business. All right. So y'all got anything? But how y'all sound, man? Who coming in that? Any of y'all sound like y'all may be interested in that? Do a 3-day thing, personalize you and 2 other people tops. That way it can be more centered. Ain't a group of people and we lost in the sauce. No, it's centered for you. You know what I'm saying? What does it mean when you have Fortune in Lilith and Pisces? So you got the part of Fortune in Lilith. I don't never read Lilith. I just never did. I never really wanted to go into the asteroids too tough, because I always had this thing where you keep getting further and further away from yourself, per se. It's not to discredit it at all. I like Juno because it deals with love and marriage. So I'm not really familiar with the dark aspect of Lilith like that, because I block myself from asteroids. I don't even read Chiron like that. But the part of Fortune in Pisces, I love, if we talk about the part of Fortune, part of Fortune is like a baby Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? So this is you're just fortunate when it comes to the Piscean stuff. So all that music, all that poetry, all that spirituality, all that imagination, all that vision board, that's where your fortune comes in at, man. Right there. When you start messing with Pisces and the Neptunian thing, it ain't physical. It is 100% spiritual, meditative, affirmation type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's where your fortune is. Now, I will say, look at the definition of Lilith, whatever that darkness is supposed to represent, in a sense, and see how that could particularly cloud your fortune. So, is that saying that you may attract dark feminine energy in your life that kind of stop you from your blessings per se, but it's not them that's stopping you, it's you being attracted to that particular aspect of it. And as long as you got you somebody who knows how to transmutation is where the work is at, man. Transmutation is where the work is at. It is all about transmutation, being able to take it from this state to that state. That's where it's at. Okay. So it's not necessarily dark if you got somebody who know how to work it. All right. Right. Two worlds are always open. Right. And they are. And you can play with those. You know what I'm saying? Or you can go extreme and say, no, I'm gonna focus on this for 5 and do this for the other 5, or I gotta stay away from this one because it takes me down a certain path. But when it's alchemy and it's alchemized the right way, it becomes a different experience. You know what I'm saying? A totally different experience. Tanisha, where you at, girl? You in here? I be feeling my heartbeat inside of this. It does something to my heart. I haven't used this and got on the heart machine yet. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. The vertex is what? They taking what? They taking the measurement of what is it? The rising sign, maybe your moon sign and your sun sign, and they finding this center point between those, and then they're making that like a center point reference of these 3 major points in your chart. You know what I'm saying? I don't use that either. And I'm not saying that it ain't no science in it. Once I got the core, because again, see, I'm like this. What sign do you got it in? Oh, it's in Pisces. Oh, it's just water. That's all it is. And that's what I love about the Christ energy. The Christ energy is all about simplification. You couldn't heal him because you didn't believe. Then the woman touched this garment on him. Or I say you're healed because you had faith, right? It's just stripping it down to its bare essential energies. So I don't necessarily, I just want to strip them down, and then I want to, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're so domesticated. Look at you folding clothes on a Saturday. You doing Sunday stuff on a Saturday. Um, but I like to strip it down to its energy, so then I can navigate that element. As long as I'm navigating that element, I'm straight. I'm straight. I'm super straight. And once my Mercury is online, far as what I consciously want, and I know what I spiritually want to experience, you know what I'm saying? Everything falls into place because then all of them are just different aspects of our own psychology anyway. That's it. Right? That's it. All right. Any more? What time is it? 8:09. Hold on, shoot it to me. Hold on, let me go get something real fast. Put it in the chat for me. It can make the spaceships come out. All right. Angel numbers, money coming in. Triple H is all about finances. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I remember one year I played a game, a MIDI sprout, not a sprout, but what's that like a? I mean, the MIDI thing is a music thing that I'm thinking of. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I've seen Triple Eights on money. I definitely seen that. One year I played a game in 2013 to see if I can purposely start seeing eights. Um, but yeah, yeah. I think it's all they. I think they all end up meaning the same thing to a degree. It's a reflection of your own thoughts and um. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. That's from Plant Wave. Well, I'm like 1 second away from buying that. You know what I mean? That's from Plant Wave. I'm probably gonna order it next week. That's Plant Wave. Um, but I think it's all a reflection of your own thoughts, showing that you on the path and whatnot. So I would say play games with it, and then also do play lottery. You know what I'm saying? Play with it. Yeah. So Plant Wave is dope. I'm definitely about to get that because I got this thing where I want to do is you put the sensors on the plants and the plants are playing the instrument or playing that tune. So it's not necessarily the plant's language because they already got the music built in. So based off a certain wavelength, then it's going to activate this sound, and then the other wavelength is going to activate this sound. But it's interesting because I've seen them touch the plant and then the tune change, which is supposed to because you're touching it and it's electromagnetic energy. But what I really want to see is when I bring a new plant, because every time I bring a new plant in the house, I touch it and say hi. You know, you gotta say hi. Like over there, my big snake plant, that's Big Goldie. Then you see Little Goldie on the floor because they're the same family. You know what I'm saying? Same plant. And then you got Lucky. You know what I'm saying? Right there and whatnot. And then I haven't named a few. A lot of them I haven't named and whatnot. But I want to see if the plants' music that they're playing change when I bring a new plant in, and then I also want to put a recorder here. And when I'm afar, when I think about them and send them a message, I want to see if they are telepathic and they start playing a different music. So, in other words, if I got my plants playing a certain tone that's more constant with them, and every time I touch them or say something to them, they play this specific tone over and over again. And then when I stop, they play another tone. If I got a recorder here and I'm afar and I send a message to them because I'm thinking about them, will they play that same tone and feel my thoughts? So that's my next experiment, literally. I swear that's my experiment. So yeah, I heard of that, but I just know Plant Wave is all I know. Is the people who got it. In fact, some of the music you may be hearing is from their YouTube channel that I made an MP3. Then I put waterfall sounds on top of it and whatnot. Yeah, yeah. That's amazing, man. It really is. All right, man. So I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, but think about that, man. Strong force, weak force, putting yourself in position, man, to be open, to be free, to explore. Okay, and whatever that may mean for you, it means for you. But it's being comfortable in your own skin, and getting to that part where open up your heart chakra. You have blockages, right? You have a blockage in your heart chakra. You know what I mean? I'm about to really get back on my heart science, the Heart Math Institute. Just a lot of great information surrounding the heart. Being able to pick up on energy before the brain even recognize energy. They say the heart is already picking up on stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense because it's the electromagnetic pump that is really making the brain do what it do. The brain gets its instructions from the heart, but you can tell the brain to slow down breathing, which in return will affect the heart. Okay, this is a communication that happens via what's known as the vagus nerve. VAGUS, the vagus nerve communicates this. Okay, So look into it, man. But I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. I really do. Really do. And yeah, man. I hope to see y'all soon. And you know, you can email me Noble Ampu AMPU at Gmail or hit me up. All right. Peace.